Kuwait is a country of the Arabian Peninsula located in the northwestern corner of the Persian Gulf. A small emirate nestled between Iraq and Saudi Arabia, Kuwait is situated in a section of one of the driest, least hospitable deserts on earth. Its shore, however, includes Kuwait Bay, a deep harbor on the Persian Gulf. There, in the 18th century, Bedouin from the interior founded a trading post. The name Kuwait is derived from the Arabic diminutive of the Hindustani kut, fort. Since the emirate's ruling family, the Alab, formally established a sheikhdom in 1756, the country's fortunes have been linked to foreign commerce. In time and with accumulated wealth, the small fort grew to become Kuwait City, a modern metropolis mingling skyscrapers, apartment buildings, and mosques. Kuwait City has most of the country's population, which makes Kuwait one of the world's most urbanized countries. Slightly larger in area than the U.S. state of Hawaii, Kuwait is bounded to the west and north by Iraq, to the east by the Persian Gulf, and to the south by Saudi Arabia. Kuwait is a country in West Asia. It is situated in the northern edge of eastern Arabia at the tip of the Persian Gulf, bordering Iraq to the north and Saudi Arabia to the south. Kuwait also shares maritime borders with Iran. Kuwait has a coastal length of approximately 500 kilometers 311 miles. Most of the country's population reside in the urban agglomeration of the capital and largest city Kuwait City. As of 2023, Kuwait has a population of 4.82 million people, of which 1.53 million are Kuwaiti citizens while the remaining 3.29 million are foreign nationals from over 100 countries. Historically, most of present-day Kuwait was part of ancient Mesopotamia. Before the discovery of oil, Kuwait was a regional trade port. Oil reserves were discovered in commercial quantities in 1938. In 1946, crude oil was exported for the first time. From 1946 to 1982, the country underwent large-scale modernization, largely based on income from oil production. In the 1980s, Kuwait experienced a period of geopolitical instability and an economic crisis following the stock market crash. In 1990, after oil production disputes with neighboring Iraq, Kuwait was invaded, and later annexed into one of Iraq's governorates by Iraq under Saddam Hussein. The Iraqi occupation of Kuwait came to an end on February 26, 1991, after military intervention by a military coalition led by the United States and various other countries. Like some of the other Arab states in the Persian Gulf, Kuwait is an emirate. The emir is the head of state and the al-Sabah is the ruling family which dominates the country's political system. Kuwait's official state religion is Islam, specifically the Maliki school of Sunni Islam. Kuwait is a developing country with a high-income economy, backed by the world's sixth-largest oil reserves. Kuwaiti popular culture, in the form of theater, radio, music, and television soap opera, is exported to neighboring GCC states. Kuwait is a founding member of the GCC and is also a member of the UN, AL, OPEC, and the OIC. Located at the head of the Persian Gulf in the northeast corner of the Arabian Peninsula, Kuwait is one of the smallest countries in the world in terms of land area. Kuwait lies between latitudes 28 degrees and 31 degrees north, and longitudes 46 degrees and 49 degrees east. Kuwait is generally low-lying, with the highest point being 306 meters 1,004 feet above sea level. Mutla Ridge is the highest point in Kuwait. Kuwait has 10 islands. With an area of 860 square kilometers 330 square miles, the Bubayan is the largest island in Kuwait and is connected to the rest of the country by a 2,380-meter-long, 7,808 feet, bridge. 0.6% of Kuwaiti land area is considered arable with sparse vegetation found along its 499-kilometer-long, 310 miles, coastline. Kuwait City is located on Kuwait Bay, a natural deep-water harbor. Kuwait's Bergen field has a total capacity of approximately 70 billion barrels, 11 billion cubic meters, of proven oil reserves. During the 1991 Kuwaiti oil fires, more than 500 oil lakes were created covering a combined surface area of about 35.7 square kilometers, 13 plus 34 sq mi. The resulting soil contamination due to oil and soot accumulation had made eastern and southeastern parts of Kuwait uninhabitable. Sand and oil residue had reduced large parts of the Kuwaiti desert to semi-asphalt surfaces. The oil spills during the Gulf War also drastically affected Kuwait's marine resources. Kuwait has been ruled by the Al-Sabah dynasty since the 18th century. The threat of Ottoman invasion in 1899 prompted Emir Mubarak al-Sabah to seek protection from Britain, ceding foreign and defense responsibility to Britain until 1961, when the country attained its independence. Kuwait was attacked and overrun by Iraq in August 1990. Following several weeks of aerial bombardment, a US-led UN coalition began a ground assault in February 1991 that liberated Kuwait in 4 days. In 1992, the Emir reconstituted the parliament that he had dissolved in 1986. Amid the 2010-11 uprisings and protests across the Arab world, stateless Arabs, known as Bedouin, staged small protests in early 2011 demanding citizenship, jobs, and other benefits available to Kuwaiti nationals. Other demographic groups, notably Islamists and Kuwaitis from tribal backgrounds, soon joined the growing protest movements, which culminated in late 2011 with the resignation of the Prime Minister amidst allegations of corruption. Demonstrations renewed in late 2012 in response to an Amiri decree amending the electoral law that lessened the voting power of the tribal blocs. An opposition coalition of Sunni Islamists, tribal populists, and some liberals, largely boycotted legislative elections in 2012 and 2013, which ushered in a legislature more amenable to the government's agenda. Faced with the prospect of painful subsidy cuts, oppositionists and independents actively participated in the November 2016 election, winning nearly half of the seats, but a cohesive opposition alliance largely ceased to exist with the 2016 election and the opposition became increasingly factionalized. Between 2006 and his death in 2020, the previous Kuwaiti Emir dissolved the National Assembly on 7 occasions, the Constitutional Court annulled the Assembly elections in June 2012 and again in June 2013, and shuffled the cabinet over a dozen times, usually citing political stagnation and gridlock between the legislature and the government. The current Emir, who assumed his role in 2020, launched a national dialogue in September 2021 meant to resolve political gridlock. As part of the national dialogue, the Emir pardoned several opposition figures who had been living in exile, and they returned to Kuwait. Legislative challenges remain, and the cabinet has been reshuffled 6 times since late 2020. Kuwait is divided into 6 governorates: Al-Asama Governorate, or Capital Governorate, Hawali Governorate, Firwaniya Governorate, Mubarak Al-Kabir Governorate, Ahmadi Governorate, and Yara Governorate. The governorates are further subdivided into areas. Kuwait has a comprehensive scheme of social welfare. The needy receive financial assistance, loans are provided to the handicapped to start businesses, the disabled can get treatment and training, and education is available for adult illiterates. The Ministry of Social Affairs offers a program that provides adequate, affordable housing, fully equipped with modern facilities, for citizens with limited incomes. Kuwait also has a comprehensive and highly developed subsidized national health care system. In 1976 the government established Kuwait's Reserve Fund for future generations, and it has set aside 10% of the state's revenues annually for it. The government found it necessary, however, to tap into that fund during the Iraqi occupation. Kuwait has a wealthy petroleum-based economy. Kuwait is one of the richest countries in the world. The Kuwaiti dinar is the highest valued unit of currency in the world. According to the World Bank, Kuwait is the 5th richest country in the world by gross national income per capita, and one of 5 nations with a GNI per capita above $70,000. Kuwait is currently the GCC region's most oil-dependent country with the weakest infrastructure and lowest share of economic diversification. In 2019, Iraq was Kuwait's leading export market, and food/agricultural products accounted for 94.2% of total export commodities. Globally, Kuwait's main export products were mineral fuels including oil, 89.1% of total exports, aircraft and spacecraft, 4.3%, organic chemicals, 3.2%, plastics, 1.2%, iron and steel, 0.2%, gems and precious metals, 0.1%, machinery including computers, 0.1%, aluminum, 0.1%, copper, 0.1%, and salt, sulfur, stone and cement, 0.1%. Kuwait was the world's biggest exporter of sulfonated, nitrate and nitrosated hydrocarbons in 2019. Kuwait was ranked 63rd out of 157 countries in the 2019 Economic Complexity Index, ECI. In recent decades, Kuwait has enacted certain measures to regulate foreign labor due to security concerns. For instance, workers from Georgia are subject to heightened scrutiny when applying for entry visas, and an outright ban was imposed on the entry of domestic workers from Guinea-Bissau and Vietnam. Workers from Bangladesh are also banned. In April 2019, Kuwait added Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, Bhutan, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau to the list of banned countries, bringing the total to 20. According to Migrant Rights, the bans are put in place mainly due to the fact that these countries lack embassies and labor corporations in Kuwait. Despite its relatively small territory, Kuwait has proven crude oil reserves of 104 billion barrels, estimated to be 10% of the world's reserves. Kuwait also has substantial natural gas reserves. All natural resources in the country are state property. As part of Kuwait Vision 2035, Kuwait aims to position itself as a global hub for the petrochemical industry. Al Zour refinery is the largest refinery in the Middle East. It is Kuwait's largest environmentally friendly oil refinery, where this refers to the effect on the local environment as opposed to the global environmental impact of burning the resulting oil. This Al Zour refinery is a Kuwait-China cooperation project under the Belt and Road Initiative. Al Zour LNG terminal is the Middle East's largest import terminal for liquefied natural gas. It is the world's largest capacity LNG storage and regasification greenfield project. The project has attracted investments worth $3 billion. Other megaprojects include biofuel and clean fuels. The biggest non-oil industry is steel manufacturing. United Steel Industrial Company, KWT Steel, is Kuwait's main steel manufacturing company, which caters to all of Kuwait's domestic market demands, particularly construction. Kuwait is self-sufficient in steel. In 2016, Kuwait's food self-sufficiency ratio was 49.5% in vegetables, 38.7% in meat, 12.4% in dairy, 24.9% in fruits, and 0.4% in cereals. 8.5% of Kuwait's entire territory consists of agricultural land, although arable land constitutes 0.6% of Kuwait's entire territory. Historically, Yara was a predominantly agricultural area. There are currently various farms in Yara. Kuwait has a state-funded healthcare system, which provides treatment without charge to Kuwaiti nationals. There are outpatient clinics in every residential area in Kuwait. A public insurance scheme exists to provide reduced-cost healthcare to expatriates. Private healthcare providers also run medical facilities in the country, available to members of their insurance schemes. As part of Kuwait Vision 2035, many new hospitals recently opened. Kuwait currently has 20 public hospitals. The new Sheikh Jaber Al Ahmed Hospital is the largest hospital in the Middle East. Kuwait also has 16 private hospitals. Kuwait was the first country in the region to implement 5G technology. Kuwait is among the world's leading markets in 5G penetration. Kuwait's official state religion is Maliki Sunni Islam. The Al-Sabah ruling family adhere to the Maliki school of Sunni Islam. Kuwait's official language is modern Standard Arabic, but its everyday usage is limited to journalism and education. Kuwaiti Arabic is the variant of Arabic used in everyday life. English is widely understood and often used as a business language. Besides English, French is taught as a third language for the students of the humanities at schools, but for 2 years only. Kuwaiti Arabic is a variant of Gulf Arabic, sharing similarities with the dialects of neighboring coastal areas in eastern Arabia. Due to immigration during its pre-oil history as well as trade, Kuwaiti Arabic borrowed a lot of words from Persian, Indian languages, Balochi language, Turkish, English and Italian. Football is the most popular sport in Kuwait. The Kuwait Football Association, KFA, is the governing body of football in Kuwait. The KFA organizes the men's, women's, and futsal national teams. Basketball is one of the country's most popular sports. The Kuwait national basketball team is governed by the Kuwait Basketball Association, KBA. The national team has been to the FIBA Asian Championship in basketball 11 times. Thank you for watching this video.